Pokemon Sleep is challenging. How do I have the most success in Pokemon Sleep most often to achieve the best Snorlax strength? Cater to your ideal playstyle. We need reliable ingredient Pokemon. That's the meta. 2 questions that every player must ask themselves, or as you might say in Pokemon Sleep, irresponsible? Happy screen time, and thank you for subscribing for weekly Pokemon Sleep Rotomfoolery. We're going after the big one today. Things are about to get meta. Remember when you first downloaded Pokemon Sleep and you meta Snorlax? That's the meta. It's kind of related to that, but it goes a lot deeper. Meta has retroactively come to mean the most effective tactics available. And generally it applies to competitive gaming, the things that everybody's doing to be most successful to win. But in Pokemon Sleep, there is no winning. Yes, there are some milestones, but the Pokemon Sleep meta you might describe as what is popular, what is the easiest path to success, or what is most reliable. But that said, is your target sleep styles? Is your target maximum Snorlax strength? Or is your target maximum Dream Shards in a week? When I think of the Pokemon Sleep meta, I think of the question, how do I have the most success in Pokemon Sleep most often? Generally speaking, when you play Pokemon Sleep, your goal is, how can I maximize Snorlax's strength this week? And how can I then maximize it the next week, and the next week, and the next week, and the next week? And sometimes we're looking at a certain week and we're saying, how do I maximize Snorlax's strength for that week? That's a little bit in the future. Unfortunately, you can't go back and maximize stuff in the past. Okay, well, I can't. If you can, then you can just... Hold on, time traveling is banned in this game. Don't do that. You'll get banned. All right, let's set some basic gameplay concepts before we get going. In Pokemon Sleep, good gameplay consists of the following things: feeding Snorlax lots of its favorite berry during the week, cooking the strongest meals that you can, using skills that strengthen Snorlax directly, or using skills that complement or facilitate one of these 3 other things. Now, Pokemon Sleep is challenging because you can't control what Pokemon show up, and when you manage to catch a Pokemon, you can't control if it's any good. You can control which Pokemon you use and which Pokemon you raise, or as we like to say in the community, invest in. As you're playing Pokemon Sleep, you want to use the best Pokemon you have. And that's the meta. Just kidding, obviously that's obvious. What I mean is, you want to be using the Pokemon that you have that are best at the things that they're supposed to be good at. You want berry specialists that find lots of berries. You want ingredient specialists that find lots of ingredients. And you want skill specialists that trigger their skills a lot of times. And so while hunting is appealing in Pokemon Sleep, to a certain extent, you have to take what the game gives you. And whatever those best Pokemon are, you want to put them in the best situation for them to succeed. And then based on what you've been given, you want to build a team that allows you to maximize the benefits of your best Pokemon to help you progress further in the game and to hunt the Pokemon that you want to have on your team in the long run that cater to your ideal playstyle. And for that, we're going to need to know what is our ideal playstyle and what Pokemon are best for that playstyle. And so I present to you Ben Brown's guide to Pokemon Sleep Playstyles. Playstyles come down to 2 questions that every player must ask themselves. How often are you willing to log into the game? And how much thinking do you want to do about the game? If you'd like to log in frequently, but not think about the game that much, but still get very far in the game, your best strategy is going to be getting 4 Golducks and a healer. The healer will keep Golduck running at top performance throughout the day, and the Golducks will just continue to trigger their skill. And honestly, with 4 Golducks and a healer, that actually might be the best possible team that you can have in the game to date. Regardless of any other mechanic in the game, that would consistently net you very high scores anywhere you take that team. I need to write that down. If you would like to not think about the game that much, and you'd like to not log in very frequently, but you'd still like to get high Snorlax strength and fill out a sleep dex, you're going to want to use sneaky snacking. Basically, you'll just keep trying to get all of the best berry Pokemon that you can, and you'll level them up, and you just let them do the heavy lifting, not your brain. Now, if you're willing to think about the game a little more, meaning maybe at all, because I feel like those 2 strategies just require 0 thinking, but that's my opinion. If you'd like to log in frequently and think about the game, then you're going to be pursuing a rotating team strategy. In this strategy, throughout the day, you'll continue to rotate your team based on your needs. Rotating in ingredient specialists when you need ingredients, rotating them out when you don't need those ingredients, having berry specialists and skill specialists to fill those spots on your team, and having a good healer to keep all those Pokemon healed. But if they're already healed, then rotating that healer out of the team. Anyway, this is probably where the next layer in the meta comes in, is players who are trying to play this rotating team style, because again, those other playstyles don't require as much planning or thought. But we got to round out our chart before we dig in deeper here. If you would like to do more thinking about the game but log in infrequently, your playstyle is also sneaky snacking. It's just a lot more stressful. Okay, back to the team rotation discussion. Let's bring up our good gameplay practices. If we want to feed Snorlax its favorite berries throughout the week, we need good berry specialists. If we want to cook the strongest meals we can, we need reliable ingredient Pokemon. If we want to use skills to strengthen Snorlax, we need Charge Strength S and M Pokemon, and ideally skill specialists that do those things. And based on what we're using in all of those scenarios, we may or may not be interested in other skill Pokemon. So what is the meta? The meta, formerly known as Freelancer Agent Main, was... wrong channel. Alright. Here's the skinny. Berry specialists are most useful when you can match their berry types. When you can't, you're probably better off using Charge Strength M and S skill specialists. And when you can't match them, you want to rely on cooking as well. But when you can rely on an elite berry specialist, you're less concerned with cooking and skill triggers. Okay, it's gonna sound like right now, and I'm trying to figure out how to present this. It sounds like I'm gonna say that, oh, there's berry Pokemon, ingredient Pokemon, skill Pokemon, and there's like a meta for each of them. But really, it's about the combination of what great Pokemon you have and how you balance those various Pokemon types consistently to achieve the best result, meaning to achieve the best Snorlax strength. And let me explain why I think ingredient Pokemon is talked about as the meta. And I'm going to reference what I was just saying, but I'm going to try to lay it out a different way now. Berry specialists are most useful when you have a matching berry on Snorlax. But ingredient and skill specialists generally can contribute regardless of what berry Snorlax has. So, because all of the islands are set, with the exception of Greengrass, with what berry Snorlax has as a favorite berry, there's actually a very limited selection of berry Pokemon for each island that you might be pursuing in order to succeed at that island. Maybe for Cyan Beach, you found a great Totodile, a great Dodrio, and a great Clefable, and pretend like I used evolutionary terms for all of those. But what if you never found a good Cyndaquil, a good Marowak, because it's like one of the worst Pokemon in the game, and you didn't find a good Onix because you had to go to Top Hollow to get that good berry specialist for the rock type? Well, you're probably better off focusing on ingredients and skill specialists rather than your great Cyan Berry specialists, depending on what level they're at. That is to say, you can more fully rely on ingredient specialists and skill specialists and ignore berry types for these Pokemon and enjoy the extra bonus when it happens to benefit from being the same berry type. But a berry specialist is twice as effective, which is a huge multiplier with that favorite berry, and comparatively it's half as effective to that 2x, right, when it's just its normal amount. So if you're used to running that berry specialist on a certain area that has a matching berry, and then you go somewhere else, you're gonna feel like, man, this guy just is not great. And it might still be the strongest option you have. Man, so many disclaimers. Okay, look, the point is, and I already said this, ingredient specialists and skill specialists, you can ignore the berry. Berry specialists, you want to pay attention to the berry. The other side of that, what Pokemon you use and then what Pokemon you invest in, or what Pokemon you raise. Berry specialists and ingredient specialists benefit the most by getting leveled up. Skill specialists benefit the most by main skill seed investments. So naturally, those are going to progress a lot slower compared to leveling up. And I'm not saying don't level up skill specialists, but as an example, I have Cheyenne, a Golduck, in my box, who if I put 6 main skill seeds into and brought it to a level 7, it would be my 3rd strongest Pokemon, even if I left it at level 22. And it's only going to get better from there because it has good sub-skills in nature. Well, it has good sub-skills. It has a nature, is what I'm saying. It's not a great nature. So skill specialists are something that you're very limited on how quickly you can invest in them and progress. And generally speaking, they're thought of as premium Pokemon because the premium shop is where the main skill seed has been traditionally. In 2025, there will be a main skill seed available in the shop for the non-premium players, but it's going to be pretty expensive. So you're probably going to want to focus on berry and ingredient specialists anyway. And if you happen to get a great skill specialist, great, but probably don't go try to hunt one beyond getting a healer. At least not until you have more of a foundation with your berry Pokemon and your ingredient Pokemon that are reliable. You're not planning, like me, to spend all of your time at Cyan Beach. You want to get out there, see the world, and that is why ingredient Pokemon are the meta discussion. You can use them anywhere effectively, and you make them better by just leveling them up. Specifically, you're looking at getting them to that level 30 landmark, and then in the long run you're looking at the level 60 landmark, which is what I'm eyeing right now with my teams. And that's after more than a year of play, so if you're newer to the game, you don't want to try to build a crazy ingredient team right out the gate, because it's going to take you a long time to hunt and find these Pokemon. Go watch my other ingredient video. Now, as far as the mono ingredient meta game is concerned, I have a few words to say. It's good, it's fine. Yes, it's probably the best, but in a game where you can't control what Pokemon come your way, you have to assess how long you're willing to hunt for something, what's giving you what on that ingredient table. But ultimately, the most reliable ingredient specialists are ones that are producing the ingredients that you need when you need them. So, mono builds are the best for that reason. Generally speaking, for ingredient specialists, they're great for that. But ABB, generally speaking, just as viable. AAB and AAC, I would say, are great for investments to level 30, but you're probably going to want to look for something else for a long-term thing. And when it comes to ABC ingredient specialists, it's not that they're bad, it's just that they can't always get you the thing that you need when you need it. So if you're just looking to get lots of ingredients and you get that ABC roll, sure, use it for pot filler, use it when you're targeting a specific dish. But because dishes continue to get added to the game, and stronger dishes seem to be in the future, the reason to get good ingredient Pokemon that are ABB or AAA are so that when that new recipe drops, you should have a team that can already make it. Although probably it will drop with a new ingredient in a lot of cases. So keep that in mind, that you might need to go hunt for a level 30 option or a great long-term ingredient specialist. But if you can get a Pokemon to cover each ingredient, then when a new island is introduced, you don't have to worry whether or not you have a berry specialist for that island, because you'll have great high power meals that you can make. And then if you find a good or great berry specialist to use that matches Snorlax's favorite berry, it's the cherry on top. And eventually you can just get 4 Golduck, because even if you do like thinking about the game, it's going to take like 3 years to build that team. So go get it. I don't know if this has been helpful or not. Let me know if you at least found it interesting in the comments. Now let's look at my previous week of Pokemon sleeping. I spent the week on Cyan Beach in hopes of getting desserts and drinks, which I did, so I could keep grinding up those dish levels. Starting off Monday night into Tuesday, we got snoozing sleep. It was the last night of the Good Sleep Day event, and we were blessed to receive a 1-star Kangaskhan sleep style. And we caught a Slowpoke. The Slowpoke is interesting. It has an ABB ingredient spread, which means maybe it's a tail farmer. It starts out with helping bonus and skill trigger, which means it's promising and usable as a slow whatever. Then ingredient fighter M at 50 makes me think this would be a great Slowbro. Unfortunately, skill trigger M at level 100 blocks the other skill trigger from being upgraded, but if we're primarily focused on can we get Slowpoke tails from this guy, then we're actually more excited about seeing ingredient finding up in the nature. Even though speed of health down is not ideal, it is a Slowpoke, so it's supposed to be slow, right? It's just on brand. Now, I already caught a Slowbro that actually fits this category really well. So we're gonna have to go compare it. And it isn't as good as that other Slowbro, but maybe we can get a team of Slowbro and Slowking to run when we're specifically looking to just get Slowpoke Tails and just fill up the whole bag with them. And having helping bonus on that team sounds great to me. The next night we got an atop belly Heracross, which means we got dozing sleep. And today I'm wearing a hat again because I didn't want to bring my hair across this video. Now, this Heracross is actually pretty special, and I'll tell you why later in the video. Stick around. Actually, let's look at this Heracross right now. But its subskills and nature are actually not why this is special, so you'll still have to stick around. Skill Trigger and Helping Speed are the best possible things we could see on this Heracross. Unfortunately, Speed of Help is going to be blocked at level 100, and the nature is not great. If I was hunting for a Heracross, no, I wouldn't consider this. I'd keep hunting. We also managed to catch a Psyduck. It has 2 gold skills to start, and one is helping bonus, and a skill trigger at level 50 is pretty great. Best case scenario, if it has a good nature, it's one of our top candidates. Helping speed late is also good to see, but bad nature again. They say fortune favors the bold, but in Pokemon Sleep, nothing favors the bold. The next night we got dozing sleep again, and we dropped our biscuit on a Gulpin that was just needing to be finished off. I'm not holding my breath that I'll ever get a better Gulpin than the one that I have in my box. And this one isn't really anything special. So unspecial, in fact, that I'll send it to Neroli as a Christmas gift. The next night, nothing hungry again on slumbering sleep. So we dropped our biscuit on a Quaxley. And I honestly did it for the candies, right? I don't need another Quaxley. I can't imagine that we're going to get a better leek farmer than the one that we have, and I'm not really interested in Quaxley for soybeans, honestly. So it's literally for candies, which might tell you that I really am not interested in a lot of the things slumbering on Cyan Beach these days. Now, this Quaxley is triple soybean, but it doesn't have any good subskills to back it up. And it does have a good nature of Brave, but if I'm going to invest in an experienced down Pokemon, I want it to be something that I want. That said, I threw an RX on its name. It's a research experience mon that can go on a sleep team. So you barely made the cut, Quaxley. Congrats. The next night I got snoozing sleep, and I dropped my premium biscuit on a Pikachu and caught nothing. Not because I tried to catch the Pikachu, I literally just fed it a premium biscuit and left. The next night we got a hungry Cramorant, which I went ahead and finished off with a Great Biscuit and Poke Biscuit. And previously we had a hungry Squirtle and a hungry Mime Jr., and I guess I woke up feeling generous, or as you might say in Pokemon Sleep, irresponsible. I fed 4 Poke Biscuits to the lot and came away with 3 Pokemon. Maybe it's just feeling like I had wasted the day before by not catching anything. I don't know. So looking at the Cramorant first, triple oil is actually pretty interesting for a Cramorant, and I'm looking for an oil farmer. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any subskills to help me get that oil, and it doesn't have a nature to help me get that oil. It's the same thing about the experienced down Pokemon we just saw. Now, looking at the Squirtle, AAB. I don't think I'll ever use it. But it has Berry Finding S, Ingredient Finder that can be upgraded, and an Ingredient Up Nature. And also Helping Speed late. Well, it doesn't fit into any of my ingredient goals, but for someone, this would be a great starter Squirtle. False. I told you in my other video that you want Cacao in that level 30 slot for a starter Squirtle to just make it worthwhile for your longevity, but it would be great in the immediacy of having Berry Finding S, of just finding milk and lots of ingredients. It could be a great war turtle that you then hunt for a level 30 Blastoise to use anyway. And I'm only really interested in Mime Jr. if we can get Triple Tomato or ABB again. I already have an ABA, Mr. Mime, that is actually pretty epic. It's just ABA, so I can't really rely on any of its ingredients. That said, Speed of Help down here, just not worth it to me. Then a change of music for this morning. A hungry Arbok showed up at camp, so since we could one-shot it, I did. Now, it has Ingredient Finder S, an inventory, Helping Speed, M is good, Skill Trigger, meh. The Speed of Help down nature kills this for me, but just so everyone knows, getting Ingredient Finder on a berry Pokemon, while not elite, is not like a total killer. It's not as bad as some players seem to think it is. For our deep cuts today, we got 7,000 main skill triggers. Let me tell you why that Heracross was special for anyone who was waiting around specifically for that so that they could drop at this point of the video. Okay, that Heracross, if you remember from a previous video, is the last sleep style we need for dozing on Cyan Beach. So dozing on Cyan Beach right now won't get us any new sleep styles, and I went and checked, and everything that we don't have at Cyan Beach right now is actually available to get on other islands. So I think we might be done with Cyan Beach for ever. No, until there's like a new Pokemon there that we want to go hunt. My next target is actually going to be Lapis Lakeside, and I'm planning on spending probably several weeks there grinding up the area bonus and hopefully seeing lots of Dratini, Dragonair, and Dragonite, because I'm raising one Dragonite and one Dragonair currently, but hopefully 2 Dragonite in the long run. But that said, looking at what Pokemon I can be hunting there is very much informing which Pokemon I'm focusing on for my candy boost in the current holiday event. Originally, Dragonair was on that list as a target. It's off. And I've had a Ralt sitting in my box since August. It's like the same skill trigger wise as Wasabi, which I caught it was like the first Ralts I caught. It has great nature and sub skills. Take a look at it, but it's like, it was a great Ralts. Didn't regret investing in it right away and using it. Okay, I did a little actually because I felt like it wasn't actually that much better skill trigger wise than my Wigglytuff. But you'll notice that Wasabi is level 30. It's always stayed at level 30 because I've always intended on hunting a better Ralts. I've come a long way, you could say, in this game, because I don't actually see a need to hunt for a better Ralts. If I can have something that triggers 5 or 6 times a day, that's good enough. That said, I want to benefit from the berry strength that Ralts can provide me, because you can see both of these, I assume I'm putting them both up on the screen, have berry finding S. Now it's less of an investment to take the berry finding S Wasabi up to level 50, but beyond level 50, I don't see anything that I get that excited about. The other Ralts, on the other hand, is something that I'd be willing to take beyond 50 eventually, and it's going to get better too at what it's supposed to do. So, Ralts has become the new target of Candy Boost, and I should have plenty of handy candy to get Ralts, Kangaskhan, and Delibird up to or close to level 50. Now, sneak peek, I got Magoberry for the holiday event this morning, so I actually want that Ralts right now since I'm invested in it anyway. So this morning, I took it up to level 48, evolved it into Gardevoir, and it's running on my team right now as my healer. It will be getting a main skill seed from a gift in a couple of days, and it will be hitting Berry Finding S tomorrow. I could not believe that I used 500 candies and maxed out the boost today. That just felt insane that I even did that. But it's going to help me with my overall strength in the week, while also being the healer. I'm running good camp tickets, so I'm not worried about the actual strength of the skill for this week. I might switch in Wasabi every so often, just to, train the new guy. Oh, and you've probably already seen this, but the new guy's named Noel because, Christmas time, and this is when I decided to invest in the red and the green. I mean, it's pink, but And I was realizing that even if I don't have enough handy candies to get both my Delibird and Kangaskhan all the way up to level 50, well, I can just keep them on my sleep team and grind the last couple levels if I need to, but I can take a big leap forward during this event. That said, hoping to take them a big leap forward, but also looking at my box of what other lower level things could I bring up. So I'm sure next week, by the end of this week, and by the time you get this, when you're like, the holiday event is like so over, Christmas is so gone, and here's Ivan Brown still talking about the holiday event like the thing. It's just scheduling, Anyway, I'm sure I'll have lots to update you on how my account is progressing, and I'm thinking that we'll do a deeper dive on why I'm choosing Lapis Lakeside, but I still think we might have a New Year's event around the corner. It hasn't been announced yet, but it just seems like, why would they not do a New Year's event every year? It seems like one of those staple events like Halloween, like EV Day, like the holiday event. So I think that's still coming. And then the next for sure event, I think, will be Valentine's event, And I think we'll have at least one other event in the meantime, maybe just another growth week if they're being lazy, but ideally, come on, give us something interesting. Actually, I was thinking about how they did the summer festival with the Cram-O-Matic, and I was thinking it could be interesting to bring back the Cram-O-Matic and do a winter festival, and I feel like that space between New Year and Valentine's would be a great time to do Winterfest. And I would love to turn my Sudowoodo and Jaded candies into Larvitar candies if I'm being totally selfish. So, you can't plan on anything to happen this game, but this week I'm trying to maximize my Dream Shards. I'm going to be spending all my Dream Shards this week. We'll see what the next week entails, but I'm probably going to be slowing down on spending Dream Shards just in case something interesting happens at the beginning of the year that needs Dream Shards. And because the Pokemon I'm going to be leveling are all long-term investments anyway, so leveling them today versus tomorrow doesn't really make a difference if they're just sitting in my box anyway. You might be thinking, wasn't the whole goal of staying on a high area bonus place to level up your dishes, Ben Brown? Why are you leaving? Your dishes aren't max level yet. Well, they're not, but I feel like I achieved my goal. My top dishes, while I do have a lot of maxed dishes at this point that are the higher level ones, but a lot of my top dishes are significantly higher level. If I had been making these top dishes on any other area, they wouldn't be as high as they are. So I achieved that goal. All of the new dishes are now the best dishes I can make, and I should be able to make them on a regular basis because I have Damien, my Glaceon, who finally has a nickname. And shout out to my bestie who knows why it's named Damien. And hopefully, you don't get freaked out. YouTube notifications show different names than other places, so sorry. Anyway, what's up? Alright, in other news, I did decide maybe I'll do some prep for the holiday event. I'll run a Berry Bomb on the last day of the week, and guess how many skill triggers I got from that Berry Bomb? From running a Suicune, from the morning of Sunday, and clicking on the triggers into the night, because, the baby thing, I got one Suicune trigger. Berry Boyoyoing my Boyoyoing. So that was a waste. I started off with barely any extra strength this morning, but I mean, it's better than no extra strength, I guess, but that was just sad. Please let me know in the comments how your holiday event is going. Hopefully it's going great. Let's do this again sometime. Happy researching. Off to a strong start for the week. Here's your preview of the next week. It was this. And I don't think that I have a lot of bloopers because I recorded this really fast and I'm mostly awake. So, to help you progress, it starts out with helping bonus and please let me know in the comments how your holiday event is. Thanks for being one of the real ones who watches to the end.